Hello y'all, my name is Clifford Campbell, and today I'm going to be teaching you fractions. Okay, the reason why I put fractions as the number one thing on the TSI review is because a lot of the problems will stem from being able to deal with fractions, especially in the algebraic reasoning one. They typically won't ask these very simple fraction problems, I don't think. But it's going to set the foundation, okay? So let's go through it. I'll try to go through kind of fast here. Hopefully it all makes sense. First thing we got to show you how to do is we got to show you how to simplify a fraction. Okay, simplify it. And that just means make it in its most basic form, okay? So like 14 over 7. I would hope if I asked any of you guys, what's 14 divided by 7? You'd say, oh, that's 2, right? Okay, well, let's talk about how you can simplify it to make it 2. Okay, you would look at both things and you would say, what are they both divisible by? And you would look at the smallest one. That's what I usually like to do. I look at the smallest one and I say, okay, is it divisible by 1? Well, yeah, obviously. Let's check the next one. Is it divisible by 2? No. Is it divisible by 3? No, right? And if you're wondering, like, how is he figuring out if it's divisible by that? Okay, if it's divisible by 2, 2's go 2, 4, 6, 8. I went by 7. I didn't hit it, right? So then you would check 3. 3, 6, 9. I went by 7. I didn't hit it. Okay, 4 is not divisible by 4. 4, 8, right? 5 is not divisible by 6. No. 7. Yes, it's divisible by 7. So I would check, are both things divisible by 7? And yes, in this case, 14 is also divisible by 7, right? And 14 divided by 7 is 2. 7 by 7 is 1. And if you ever have a denominator, the thing on the bottom, if it's ever 1, you can just write it as 2. Or you can do opposite. You can write it as 2 over 1, but usually we write it like that. And that is the simplified version of 14 over 7. Now let's do one that's a little more complicated, yeah? Let's do like 12 over 30. Okay, now let's follow that same rationale. I'm going to start with a number that's smaller. So I'm going to start with 12. And I'm going to say, okay, what is it divisible by? Well, it's divisible by 2. Is 30 divisible by 2? Yes. So I'm going to divide both of them by 2. 12 divided by 2 is 6. 30 divided by 2 is 15, right? Okay, now at that point, I've simplified it. Yeah? But maybe it can go further, so I need to keep checking. So I look at that number. Is it divisible by 2? In this case, yes, 6 is divisible by 2, but 15 is not. So I check the next one. Is 6 divisible by 3? Yes, it is. Well, let's check 15. 15 divided by 3, yes, that's also divisible by 3. So I'm going to divide each one of them by 3. And that's going to give me, oops, I don't know why I was making two equal signs. That's going to give me 6 divided by 3 is 2. 15 divided by 3 is going to be 5. Okay, that is simplified from there. Now, at that point, you wouldn't stop, but I could see that it didn't simplify anymore because 2 is only divisible by 2, right? And 5 is not divisible by 2. So that's where you would stop and you say, okay, I'm done. I simplified it all the way. Let's do maybe one more. Let's do like, I don't know, 10 divided by, let's say, 55. Okay. Well, you would check both of them. So are they both divisible by 2? No. 10 is, but not 55. Okay, so you would check the next one. 3, no. 4, no. 5. Yes, they're both divisible by 5, right? 10 divided by 5 is 2. 55 divided by 5 is going to be, let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. 11, right? And that's how you can always do it. If you don't know it off the top of your head, count it out in your hands. Just be like, okay, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Because on the TSI exam, remember, you only get a calculator on some questions, okay? And a question of like simplifying something, it's not going to have a calculator on it. So you're going to have to be able to deal with these fractions without a problem. You have to be able to simplify them, add them, subtract them, divide them, multiply them. You got to be able to do all of it, okay? Okay, after simplifying, the next thing you need to know how to do is multiply and divide. Okay, let's check it out. Multiply and divide. Okay, first one I want to start with. Now, these ones are super easy, okay? 4 over 5 times 2 over 3. Now, you might write it like this. You could also write it like this, okay? 4 over 5 dot 2 over 3. That just means simplify as well, right? So both of these are the same exact question. So I'll just do this top one. Okay, multiplying is the easiest thing you can do in fractions. You just go straight across. You just multiply. 4 times 2 is 8. 5 times 3 is 15. And then you would try to simplify it if you can. And this one, 8 is divisible by 2, but 15 is not. This one's divisible by 3, but 8 is not. So it looks like, and you would just keep working your way up. 4, yes, not here though, not by 15. Okay, so that is a simplified version of that number right there. Okay? Now, let's do that's how you do multiplying, okay? I'm going to leave it right there for multiplying. I think that's pretty simple. You go straight across, numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. Okay, now dividing. Here's how you divide. 1 over 6 divided by 3 over 4. Okay, so here's how you divide. First off, I really like multiplying, right? So I'd really rather see the divide as a multiply. Okay, I know that's weird to say, but that's what we do in math. We call it copy, change, flip. So we're going to copy the first thing, 1, 6. Change, we're going to switch it from being division to multiplication. So copy, change, flip. And then the last one, we're just going to flip up. We're going to get the reciprocal. Okay. And there we go. Now we made it multiplication. So it switched from being a division problem to a multiplication problem. And these are easy. So 1 times 4 is 4. 6 times 3 is 18. Okay, and then you're done. But you're not done. You got to simplify. This is divisible by 2, and this is divisible by 2. So this is going to be 2 over 18 divided by 2 is 9. And that's as far as you can go. There we go. You just learned how to multiply and divide. So at this point, if you go to the worksheet, you should be able to do the first two and all the multiple. So you almost the entire front half, you can do the multiply and divide. The next thing I need to show you how to do is addition and subtraction with fractions. Okay, and then we'll do a couple word problems and we'll be done with this one. Okay, addition and subtraction. Add and subtract. Okay, let's start with a addition one. 3 over 5 plus 1 over 10. Cool? Okay. First thing you got to do whenever you're adding or subtracting, whenever you see this, I have no idea why it circled that. Whenever you see this, adding or subtracting, you need to find a common denominator. That means the bottom number needs to be the same on both of them. It looks like it deleted my bottom number here, which it was supposed to be 3 over 5 plus 1 over 10. Okay. So, in order to find a common denominator, I'm going to have to look at the denominator on both of them and see if I can multiply it by something to make it the same as the other. Okay? This is the easy route. Now, if you look at this 5, if I multiply 5 by 2, it makes 10, right? Okay, so I just found a way to make it the same as the other. But what you do on one of them, you got to do on the other one, okay? And the reason why is because we're going to multiply it by 2 over 2. That's the same as multiplying it by 1. And remember your basic math. 5 times 1 is 5, 6 times 1 is 6. So if you multiply anything by 1, it's always the same number. That's why I can do this. I'm just multiplying it by 1. Okay, so let's do this. 2 times 3. So my new fraction is going to be 2 times 3, which is 6, over 2 times 5, which is 10. Plus, I'm just going to bring down the 1 over 10. Okay, look at that. We have a common denominator. Awesome. Switch this to black. Why isn't it switching? There we go. Okay, so now I have a common denominator. 6 over 10 plus 1 over 10. Now, since you have a common denominator, you just keep your denominator and you just add on the bottom. 6 plus 1, 7. And then you see if you can simplify it. I cannot here. Cannot simplify. So there's my answer. Okay? So that's an addition one. How about we do a subtraction one? 3 over 2 minus 3 over 6. Okay, you would just do the same thing. You look at the denominator. You say, okay, what can I multiply one of them by to make it the same as the other? Well, it looks like I can multiply 2 by 3. That'll make it 6. What I do to one, I need to do the other because we need to multiply it by 1, right? Okay, 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 2 is 6. Minus, I just keep that one, right? Now I just subtract straight across. And keep your denominator common. Okay, 9 minus 3 is 6. Okay, 6 divided by 6, what is that? Well, they're both divisible by 6, right? So if you divide each one of them by 6, that just makes 1 over 1, which is just 1. Awesome. Okay, I got one more adding and subtracting, and we'll go to a couple word problems. Okay, this one's going to be the harder one to do, okay? So let's go 3 over 4 minus 1 over 5. Okay, now I need to multiply this smaller one by something to make it the same as the big one, right? That's what we did over here. I multiplied the 2 by 3 to make it 6. I multiplied this 5 by 2 to make it 10. But here, I can't multiply 4 by something to make it 5. So what am I going to do? Well, here's the foolproof way. You can do this on any one of these adding or subtracting. It always finds a common denominator. If you did not like this method, this one always works. You multiply it by the denominator of the other one. So I multiply that one, this one by 5 over 5, and I multiply this one by 4 over 4. And look what happens when we do this. 5 times 3 is 15. 5 times 4 is 20. Minus 1 times 4 is 4. 5 times 4 is 20. It always finds a common denominator. It always works. There's no way for it not to work for you. So just remember that. You can always multiply the other one by the other one's denominator. Okay, and then we just do the same thing we're doing. Common denominator is 20. It stays the same. 15 minus 4 is 11. And that does not simplify. 11 and 20 are not divisible by any numbers, the common numbers. Okay, 11 over 20. Okay, now we got all those done. Okay, let's do a word problem. And here's how they'll write them out, okay, so you can see some of them. Like a student walks 3/5 of a mile in the morning and 1/3 of a mile in the afternoon. How far did the student walk? Okay, well, you know how to do all this other stuff, so you just need to figure out what you're going to do with this. Are we going to add it? Are we going to subtract them? We're going to multiply them? Or are we going to divide them? That's how you do it. And then if you can figure out which operation you're supposed to do on it, then I already showed you how to do them. This should be an easy problem. Yeah, so in this case, the student walks 3/5 of a mile, and then in the morning, 1/3 of a mile in the afternoon. How far did the student walk in total? Well, that means you got to add them, right? So just find a common denominator, put them together, you got yourself an answer. Okay, let's make my own one. Let's say we buy a pizza pie. Yeah? And, Mom took 1/4 of it. So we only have 3/4 of a pizza now. Yeah? We only got 3/4 of the pizza. And let's say there's 4 of us. There's 4 of us. Yeah, so we're going to have to split this. So Mom stole 1/4 of the pizza, and, it's me and my 3 brothers, and we all got to split the 3/4. How are we going to do that evenly? I want it to be fair. So I want to do 3/4 divided by 4, right? Because if I divide it by 4, then that'll tell me how much fraction of a pizza each one of us gets. Well, let's look at this. We already know how to divide, but wait, this 4 doesn't look like the division we were doing over here, because the division we were doing over here was a bunch of fractions, right? Is this divided by another fraction? Well, just make it a fraction. There we go. I made it a fraction. Now, remember, in order to divide, we do copy, change, flip. So I copy, change it to multiply, flip. And then I just multiply straight across, because that's what multiplying is. 3 times 1 is 3. 4 times 4 is 16. Okay, so, and then that does not simplify. So me and each one of my brothers gets 3/16 slice of a pizza, and that will make it fair for all of us. Yeah? Okay. there you go. I hope that makes sense. I hope you loved it. Now go ace this fractions worksheet and come back and watch the next one.